Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Bella. I'm a part-time reseller on eBay and Poshmark. I have my weekend sales, almost $500 total in sales. Friends, I have not had a weekend like that in a long time. I want to get into everything that sold, talk a little bit about like some of the items that sold and what I'm doing in my store right now, my eBay store primarily, to get sales moving. And I really do think it's making a difference. So let's get into everything that sold. I had 3 Poshmark sales and 14 eBay sales. So yes, it was a great weekend. Let's get into it and see what sold. Typically I like package everything up while I'm shipping and get them in their bags and the labels and everything. I am going to bag up the items in their little clear bags, but I'm just going to go back through, and I think it'll take way longer this video if I do my usual where I'm shipping and talking. So let's just get into what's selling, and yeah, a lot of good stuff. Bijou. I picked this up at a church sale for, this was $2 because it was brand new with tags at this church sale. I have another one exactly like this in black. They're both new with tags, which is why I picked it up. I love to pick up, this brand I believe is right now still sold at Penny's. I know years ago I used to work at JCPenney's and I remember they sold this brand, and yeah, the tag does say JCPenney's. So I wouldn't have usually picked this brand up, but it was new with tags, and that is why. And I've had this for over a year. So I wouldn't say run out and get all the bijou you can find. I accepted an offer over the weekend. It sold for $10. My estimated profit around $9.29. There was a little bit of shipping overage, so that is where you're seeing, the little bit extra there. So typically, a lot of buyers will use coupons in my store. This buyer did not. They sent me an offer, so they, got a good deal, and it's going to be off to them. It's like a $36 shirt. It's nice. I probably wouldn't have picked them up again. Figured the black one would have sold first, just, but this one I got an offer. I do want to talk about why I think this item that I've had for so long decided to sell over the weekend. While we get into the next item, I will talk about that. This is Tail, an athletic brand. I've sold their dresses before. This was just a cute top. I got this at the Salvation Army. My cost of goods for this item that day was $2.19. I've had this probably for about 6 months. So I had better luck with the Tail dresses than I did with this tank top. I am glad to see it on its way to its destination today, but yeah, I do like the dresses. I don't know a whole lot about this brand, but I'm not super eager to go pick it up again, but nevertheless, it sold. And what I've been talking about is things are selling more, and it was more towards the end of this week. I had an awesome week last week than the last 7 days. So I did mention it in my video probably earlier last week that I upped my basic store. And basically what that means is a basic eBay store. They give you, you pay for 1,000 listings a month. Now my store is sitting right around 1,100, give or take, every couple of days. And I was running out of listings. So eBay will go back in after a certain amount of time and relist your item, and they charge you 25 cents. Now, for whatever reason, once you reach the cap of those 1,000 listings, I had a few months of, I was reaching that cap every month, and I was paying an additional 25 cents per item to get new items up. And if eBay was automatically going back in for my older items and relisting them again, they were also charging me for that. So I wanted to spend a few months and see if it would be worth it for me to upgrade to, I think the next level is a premium store. And so now I can list up to 10,000 things a month. So I did that earlier last week. I was out of eBay listings for the month of October, and I was going to probably be spending $10, $15, maybe even more than that, between relisting over those next couple of days and my new inventory. So I did upgrade. They prorated it. It was about $10, I think, for the rest of the week, for me to move up from the basic store that I'd already paid for October to the premium store. And that has allowed me to go back in and edit my older listings. For whatever reason, when eBay goes in and relists my items, it doesn't seem like they get a lot of traction. Now, when I went in and relisted my items, maybe dropped the price a little bit, but not everything. I didn't drop prices for all the items I relisted last week. That tail tank top is one of the examples, and the bijou top actually as well, of items that I relisted, checked over my listing, and got a new item number, and I did that by doing sell similar on the listing after I ended it. So, and that's also something you can do in bulk editing as well. So you're not doing, 100, say you have a big store like mine and you want to, relist or delist, sell similar 100 listings that you just have a lot of stuff. They have a bulk edit feature that you can go in and change your item prices, make sure the titles are realized. It's all listed right there for you. So it's really great. And I do honestly think my sales picked up last week because I went in and I changed that over and I sold a good amount of items that were pretty old in my inventory. So if you've needed that push, if you're like me and you were spending 25 cents at the end of each month, because you were over your listing count, highly recommend it. And I already know that just the sales that I made towards the end of last week is going to make up that $30 extra because you have to sign up for a year. So it's around $59 and some change. Then you were signed up for a year. Essentially, you're in a contract with eBay for a year that you're going to keep that store. And I think you save like $15 a month by doing that. So that's definitely worth it. So, okay, that was long-winded, but I want you guys to know that because honestly, I had forgotten about, the sell similar, going back in, edit these items, because I was not doing that a lot in my store to where it would be relisted again because it was counting towards my listings every month, and it was lessening my ability to put more items in my store, new items that I wanted the eyes on. So the tail tank top sold for $12. My estimated profit, $9.88. And again, that was a $2.19 cost of goods. So I will talk to you about the ones that, definitely had been around a while and I relisted and sold after I did so last week. Bowden, I just found this last week. It was not even listed a week. I looked it up. This is called the Bowden Caroline top. It's really cute color waves, if you could see the difference there. I found this at the bins. I was very excited. I do like to pick up Bowden. I love to pick up women's and kids' Bowden. I did recently pick up, I think it's sitting in my death pile, a pair of Bowden men's corduroys. I'm not sure that men's do as well. I think I got those at the bins as well, and I was just really excited. Like, oh, it's Bowden, I need that. But don't be like me, sometimes I get excited and I just put it in the cart and, walk away. And, it's easy at the bins to get lost in your cart. And what I mean by that is, there's so much stuff and I try to separate things at the bin. So if I want to look something over better, just to make sure I want to take it home with me. But sometimes sometimes randomly, if you guys go to the bins, do you ever end up with like a tank top or something that you were definitely like, where did that come from? I did not put that in the cart. That has happened to me like a few times. So yeah, under a week on that Bowden top. So if you come across Bowden, I would, you know, this was maybe a size 8. Bowden, I think, is a UK brand overall, but really cute. I was excited that this sold super quickly. It sold for $20, and now my cost of goods at the Goodwill bins is $1.79 a pound. This shirt didn't even weigh a pound. So it sold for $20. My estimated profit, $17.36. So yes, the bins, I had a few things that I got last week that have already sold. And actually, I'm already into profit from my bins visit last week from the 3 or 4 items that I sold over the weekend. So if you need a reason or you need someone to tell you to go to the Goodwill bins, I am here to tell you that is like a great place. After you've cleared out everything in your house, go to the Goodwill bins. Because I do say, and that's even where I got my start. I was clearing out things in my house, what the kids, you know, were growing out of, what my husband was growing out of. And that's really, you know, I think a lot of us have a story like that, similar. Like if you've been on eBay a while, we all started somewhere, we all heard that first cha-ching, and we wanted to, you know, keep it up. And it is addicting once you start selling things that you're like, I can't even use that anymore. Okay, this is a Poshmark sale. This is a Free People turtleneck. So this was a pickup from a high-end consignment store local to me in my area. I go to her a couple times a year and kind of clear out her end of the season stuff. This did take a little while to sell. It sold for $20. I have $5 into this. So a little disappointed on this. Free People, it's a toss-up. I would say, like, I am not picking up all Free People right now. You know, that's not to say I wouldn't again sometime, but it's just, I've found, like, I do like to get their cardigans. Those typically sell pretty quickly for me. I picked up a Free People cardigan probably about 2 weeks ago at the bins. I love their purses. I really, really do. But I have a few like in my own collection. I haven't found any at the bins yet. Here's to hoping that I do and that I won't keep it. Because I definitely went through a Free People stage where I was like, I love this bag, I love this bag. So yeah, I don't know. Their bags are nice. All their stuff is nice. I like Anthropologie, but I'm a bag person. I'm always switching my bags, I feel like. So yeah, so I'd have been happier to get that from the bins because it would have cost me less money, but okay, it sold for $20. My estimated profit, $11. So it's out of the inventory. I made a profit. It's all good. So this one is another example of a long time coming. Tahari. Now, this is like a folk suede. It's cute. There were a couple of times that I was like, maybe I should just take it out of my own inventory. So part of it is that I think that this has a $78 retail value on it, and it is an extra small, so that did not help it. And I picked it up like 2 years ago. This was also, I believe this was a Poshmark sale as well. Yes. So it's taken forever to sell. It was honestly, I probably would have donated it this winter just because it's taken so long. And I really, unless, you know, I would say, like, if I pick up extra smalls, it's typically because it's a really good brand. Like, I think I picked up a Lily Pulitzer new with tag extra small sweater recently. I think it's extra small or so. But other than that, I really do not pick up extra small anything. It just sits so long. This is a perfect example of this. This was one of my first trips to the Pittsburgh Goodwill bins. So it has been hanging out for a few years, and I'm just glad to see it go. It did not cost me very much, and I think that's where my head was, like, oh, it's new with tags, you know, oh, it's a $78 MSRP. Don't be like me all the time, you know, like, and let that, you know, we all make mistakes as resellers. You know, I have a lot of space for my inventory, so it wasn't like hanging out in my head for all, like, oh, I gotta sell this thing. But, you know, I don't want to be like a holding unit. I don't want to be a storage unit. I want my items to be moving. So in the future, if I picked up, I do like Tahari sometimes, most of the time when it's in like 100% linen and plus size, but I learned a lesson there. I did make a profit, but it took a while. So the Tahari pullover sold for $14. My estimated profit, $10.05. So yeah, that was, I'm just glad I didn't have to donate it and I'm getting my money back. That's the best part. Okay. So recently I talked a lot more about how I am focusing on trying to pick up some more jeans, plus size jeans mostly. Coming into the fall, like I have really spent probably the last year and a half steering away from jeans in general. And that's mostly because it probably was more because I was picking up smaller sizes in jeans and they were hanging out too long. And then I just got a bad taste in my mouth about all jeans. So I just started not picking up very many of any jeans. Now, with my more recent trips to the Goodwill bins where I can get jeans that are not going to be super overpriced, and, you know, with $1.79 per pound, most jeans are going to cost me under $4. And so I've been trying to find plus size jeans and it's been working out pretty well. You know, the profit is not huge, but there is profit and they're selling quickly. So I have recently, the bins, I've been finding a lot of cut from the cloth jeans, and that's exactly what these are. These are 22 women's. This is the Catherine boyfriend jeans. So yeah, these jeans were from a couple weeks ago at the bins. I picked these up. I was excited to see the plus size, and I really, honestly, the next time I go to the Goodwill bins, I am gonna be going even more into trying to find more plus size jeans in popular brands. Like cut from the cloth, let me know how that does for you personally. I only find it typically when I go to the bins. I don't find it local to me. There is no store that sells these near me. So I actually picked up a pair of, like, I think they were Nadia Flare jeans recently at the bins that I ended up keeping for myself. But other than that, I have a few pairs of smaller cut from the cloth jeans that are kind of sitting around. So we'll see what happens. But I just have found maybe 4 or 5 pairs of cut from the cloth recently at the bin. So there's probably like, is cut from the cloth sold at Anthropologie? I want to say, like, my mind immediately always goes to Anthropologie. Like when I don't know the brand right, and it's kind, you know, like, I don't know. I'm like, it must be Anthropologie. But yeah, keep an eye out. I would say, again, plus size on those. Usually a good pickup either way. Like I just have been having really great luck with plus size jeans. You know, not making a huge profit for me, but they're going fast. I don't have to like have them in my inventory for days, weeks, years. So these cut from the cloth jeans sold on eBay for $17.50. My estimated profit, $13.21. So, okay, next up, this is another example of a top that got relisted last week that nobody was looking at, and then it sold. So let this be your reminder to go in, edit your listings, see what you can do, and even just like going in and doing those little things, like making sure, like maybe writing out the whole word medium instead of just M-E-D, you know, because you have those 80 characters in the title, and everything I've always heard is it is good to get as close as you can to those 80 characters when you're writing out your title for eBay. So, you know, go back in and see if you can do something like that. And also it's just going to, you know, movement in your store is always a plus. You know, you working in your store and updating your listings is going to get more eyes on it because you're working. The algorithm is seeing, oh, somebody's editing this. So, I definitely recommend that because this has been hanging out a while. Ridge cut, tough wear, women's 2X top. I don't think I've ever heard of ridge wear. I had $1 into this. This was a church sale. Not surprised that, you know, it is a flannel top. So, well, it's not like flannel material like this one, but it's, you know, it's flannel season. Sweater weather. That's not flannel weather. They should have one for flannel, like flannel weather, like a song or something. Because my sister and I showed up to my grandma's 87. She'd be happy that I was putting her in her 70s. Grandma, I love you. My grandma turned 87 in October, and my sister and I showed up to the birthday party wearing the exact same flannel. And I just was like, oh my gosh. And then it was just funny. My uncles and my aunts, everybody's laughing. And I'm now like the shortest grandchild. I'm the oldest grandchild, but now I'm the shortest too. They're all like super tall. I'm like, how did that even happen? So I said to my sister, I said, honestly, I have so many flannels. So from September to like the end of December and beyond, probably until the winter stops, just plan on me wearing a flannel. Because she was like, how did we wear like the same thing? Because it happened like the week before as well. So I don't know. Sisters, great minds think alike. So the Ridge cut top sold for $12. My estimated profit, $11.68. There was a little bit of shipping overage on there. So there it goes. And that was another example of something else relisted. So as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to go relist some more stuff because I want my November to be as good as my October. October was really good. My sales in general right now are, you know, it fluctuates daily. Right now it's saying it's up like 22% from the month before. Like a couple days ago, it was up 10%. Now it's up 22%. So I am definitely seeing the fruits of my labor and getting items listed and also relisting items that probably people want to buy, obviously, but they can't find them because, you know, I've had it listed for a year and a half, or whatever. So, White Stang. This is, I am so happy this sold because I thought this was going to hang out till next fall if it did not sell soon. Isn't it cute? Okay. So Kmart, I've done this before. Is this from Kmart? I can't always remember. It's either sold at Walmart or Kmart. And this is from like the 90s. It's 55% Ramie, 45% cotton. I do love to pick up the vests that are, you know, have the Ramie in it. They're very, I don't know. It's just, it's well known. It's popular. It seems like from the 90s. And this came from a Pittsburgh bins haul in early August. So I had gotten 3 what I would consider Halloween vests. With this one, you can wear this one into November. I got those at that August trip I went to. Now the other 2 sold very quickly. And I started to get nervous about this one because the other ones I had were like pumpkins and cat. One had like the Sanderson sisters on the back. It was a homemade one. It was so cute. And the other one was also very cute. It had cats all over it, and I was not surprised. That one was the first one to sell, and it had a lot of watchers. And so, long story short, this little scarecrow one, I was nervous that it wasn't going to sell, but it sold on Poshmark last night for $27, which is awesome. It came from the bins. And so my estimated profit, $19.60. Very happy with that. Very happy that this is off to its new home. And like I said, I was getting a little nervous because we're coming out of the fall, but these are staple pieces in my store. These kind of vests, these vintage looking vests for all the holidays, you know, I was nervous probably more because Christmas sweaters do sell like all year round. Fall stuff, yeah, it sells all year round, but I have had better luck selling Christmas stuff in July than say I have like fall stuff in like May, you know, I don't know. So it is what it is. It's sold. I'm so happy. That was very exciting. That was one of those 3 sales from Poshmark. All right, next up, another example of, I would say it was 2 weeks ago, I went to the bins and I ended up walking out of there probably with 5 to 10 pairs of jeans, which, like I said, is not normal for me. These are original boot cut men's jeans. They're American Eagle Flex. I like to pick up these American Eagle Flex jeans for men. The size, of course, is, plays a big factor into that. I saw somebody recently, and let me know what men's jeans sizes sell good for you. I saw recently somebody said size 36 and 38 men's jeans sell great for them. These are 36, 32, and they had a really, really quick turnaround. Like I said, only had these about 2 weeks, and yes, so they, let's see. I have my cost of goods for these around $2.68 after I weigh them and just try to figure out how much they cost me, because obviously jeans are more than a pound. So these sold on eBay for $18. My estimated profit, $10.82. So when we're talking about jeans and what I have noticed, the jeans are selling quickly, but there's not a huge profit. $10.82 to me, like that's not worth it. But it is to me, honestly. They sold in 2 weeks. It's a good brand. It's bringing people into my store, and it makes me want to go get another pair of these and do it again. If I could just keep buying the pair of jeans and make $10 and $10, I mean, I'm very happy with that. So, and the fact that it sold so quickly, I'm like, okay, this is a good size. So I would love to, honestly, this is something that I've really wondered if any of you guys sell men's jeans, what is a popular size that you look for? Because, I'm looking to up my jean category, and so far it's been very good. So I'm very happy with how it's going. Let's see. Some of these other ones are a little bit mixed up, my labels. Okay. This was an example of something I wanted to try. I said I go back to brands. So Alfred Dunner is something that I did not pick up. This was at a church sale in September, so it has not been listed long. It's new with tags. Can you believe? Wait, you got to see. Guess what the retail of this top is? Anybody? $63.50. Is there somebody out there that would, it's like, really? Isn't this just sold at like JCPenney's? That's crazy to me. So this Alfred Dunner pickup also inspired me to, last week, I found an Alfred Dunner pair of pants, new with tags. I will let you know, I'm going to list those today. So this only cost me $1 because this was the church sale I went to. So it sold for $18, awesome. And I had recently heard, it's been a couple months now, a few months ago I did hear, maybe it was Kaylee Elaine, talking about picking up Alfred Dunner. And I got nervous. I was like, really? I just imagined it sitting in like my bins for a while. And this was not the case. So again, new with tags, bread and butter stuff. Everybody is looking to say, nobody's spending $63.50 on this. I don't know. Somebody must be at some point. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, so it sold for $18. My estimated profit, $16.64. There was a little bit of shipping overage. eBay does save me a little bit of money because they offer their sellers a shipping discount if you ship with them. And I have always just shipped with eBay. I know there are other people that use other things, other different shipping platforms. I personally prefer eBay because it sends the tracking number and an email right to the buyer after the label is printed, letting them know it's going to the post office soon. And there's just, it's just too easy, and they're going to give me a discount. Maybe I should look into, if you use a different shipping platform, let me know. I see other people use them. I don't have a reason to go looking anywhere else. I'm very happy with the shipping platform on eBay, but that doesn't mean there's not a better one out there. So this Eddie Bauer jacket, also an example of a relisted item. It sold 2 days after I relisted it. So this would be a good opportunity for you to go in, jackets, coats, cardigans, sweaters, all the wintry things that maybe, you picked them up in early spring at, a yard sale or something, And, you know, they've just kind of been sitting around. It's a possibility that they're not being seen enough in your store and you want to move them back to the front because now is the time that things are going to sell. This was super exciting. I was like, I got this from, I believe this was a year ago, but might have been 2, an Eddie Bauer sale close to my house where everything was 50 cents. I made a big pile. This was somebody that, if you've been following me for a long time, you've heard me talk about this before, the Eddie Bauer sale. She had every color of Eddie Bauer like they ever made ever. It was all plus size stuff, jackets, sweaters, new with tags, you know, just so much stuff I've never seen. And she just wanted to get rid of it. I don't know if she like lost a little weight or something. And there was just so much Eddie Bauer. I've actually never come across that again. But I remember growing up, like if I liked a shirt or something, sometimes I ended up with 3 in, different colors. So, she just liked Eddie Bauer, I guess. So yeah, I'm very happy this sold. So this only cost me 50 cents. I did accept an $11 offer on this because again, it has been in my store probably a year and a half, maybe even 2, like I said. Sold for $11. My estimated profit, $10.69. There was a little bit of shipping overage. I mean, look at this. So cute. These are the colors I like to put my son in when we go to, bright neon colors so I can see him from like a mile away. When he was little, I would probably still do it honestly, but like when he was little, my daughter, I have twins, and my daughter would, she would stay close. I didn't really have to worry about her so much. My son, a bird would fly, a can would roll down the road, and he's off, and he's looking at it, and never into traffic or anything like that. So luckily he never did anything like that. But, we would be at the zoo, and he would just be like fixated on whatever was the next thing. And so I would put him in bright neon colors so I could find him in any crowd. And I did that when we would go to like big zoos or big amusement parks. And usually he'll hear my voice. I'm not a yeller, but when I would say, Harrison, he would just come. I'm like, okay, good. So yeah. All right, this sold, and I told you $10.69 was my profit. Happy with that. It is out of my inventory. It is off to its new home today. It's gonna take me a while to wrap all this stuff up. See, I told you this video was gonna be long. Okay, this was also a pickup last week. I grabbed this for my son last week because he had the exact same coat last year. Brought it home, he tried it on, and it fits him, but I went to look for his other coat because I was like, oh, I'll sell his coat from last year. Well, isn't his last year coat an XL and this is a large? So it made more sense to keep his one from last year and sell this one. I ran it through the wash, just did a little bit of, it had some like fuzzies like right here. So I used my sweater shaver and I just come do. But sold super quick. It sold, I was looking at a different one. It sold for $21.75. They did use a coupon, and oh yeah, it was only on eBay for 2 days. So I got it up there because, I don't pick up a lot of kids' jackets and things like that, but I might start honestly picking up. I was having a lot of trouble finding jackets at the bins. Just last week was like the first time that I think I left with like 4 or 5 jackets. They were just getting scooped up so fast. I was not lucky enough to find them, but I highly recommend if you can find jackets like this, I would say the bigger the kid size, the better. This was a very quick flip. My profit, $10.52. And honestly, if it didn't fit my son, that was my thought there. It weighs a little less than a pound, so less than $1.79 for this. So yeah, this will be going off to the buyer today. Just, I would say the bigger the better on the jackets and things like that. But I do not always pick up kids stuff. It's more usually for my son or my daughter. And then, if they like it, it's probably a good thing, so I could put it on eBay. So yeah, that was really cool. That was a quick flip. I was happy that that didn't hang out long. This is another exciting one. If you watched my video last week about my bins trip, which that bins trip was awesome. I am still a little bit like, how is any bins trip going to match my last bins trip? This is the North Face 550 puffer jacket. It's got a hood, detachable hood. Now I came home and I did a little bit of OxyClean to this because it had, been tossing around in the bins, I'm assuming. And I don't know, a bunch of people, this was out of a new bin. This was like the bin I went to right before I was leaving for the day. And that was where I got the Under Armour jacket. It's definitely worth a watch from my video last week. It's called a Desi Cashmere, 100% cashmere, from Italy. Beautiful overcoat. Just, I don't know. I can't wait till that sells. It's just so pretty. I've never found something that good at the bins. But this was also one, and this sold Friday afternoon. It's Monday, so very quickly. And like I said, there was a couple little stains, but now I don't even really like see them. It's just a lighter purple, so that's probably why, like, under different light you may see, I don't know. I almost kept it for myself. My mom wanted it, I wanted it, but I was like, no, I knew that this was going to be a good profit. So, I'll get into what I look for with North Face now. So it sold for $51.75. My estimated profit, $33.09. They did use a coupon. When I weighed this, my estimated cost of goods was $3.58. Because, it looks like it weighs 1,000,000 pounds, but it doesn't. It's lightweight with the puffer. I don't know. This was a great find. But North Face, again, I recently talked a little bit about North Face. I do pick up some North Face things. I also got a fleece on this day. I'm a little bit unsure what's going to happen with that, because it was fall time. Their regular fleeces in the North Face, I have noticed, have gone significantly down in price. My thought with the North Faces is, I explained it recently, that they're running this deal now that you can, turn in some of your older North Face and get credit for new items in their store. So that was kind of like, I knew this jacket was going to sell. I have not found one like this in a long time. Like, something like this would have been $15 to $20 in like a regular thrift store. So it did not have I'm curious what Goodwill would have had this marked for. It didn't have the tag attached to it still for what they sold it for, but I'm sure it was a lot. It was probably 25 bucks. Okay. So that was good. Look for so the North Face winter puffer jackets, the idea went through my mind, should I leave this? Because I am going to have to take it home and do a little bit of stain treatment to it. Is it going to come out? I couldn't resist, it really, and I'm super glad I did pick it up. So Torrid Harper shirt, just a basic Torrid top. And, this was from another church sale, a 50-cent church sale. So this top sold for $19.07. They did use a coupon, so the profit's a little bit lower on this, $8.56. So happy to see this out the door. This one came from a 2024 church sale I went to. So it hung out for a while. This one actually might have been relisted as well, and that's why it sold. But either way, it is going today. I'm so excited. All right, 3 more. I'm going to try to speed it up. Just this video, I thought, okay, if I'm not packaging everything up, it's going to go really fast. This was I just picked this up about 2 to 3 weeks ago at a church sale, again, where everything was 50 cents. I live in an area where there is a lot of rural churches, and I don't know, they just don't charge a lot. Now, that's not every church sale, but there are a couple of them off the beaten path and, in rural Pennsylvania that have, some really good deals. I actually said, I asked about the coats there. I said, the coats too are 50 cents? Oh yeah. They charge more for the bake sale than the clothes. It kills me. Okay, so this J. Crew, I got this because of the pattern, the animal print. It's an extra large. So this top sold for, or sweater, it sold for $29.25 from the church sale, 50 cents. My estimated profit, $20.06. So definitely, with J. Crew, I don't pick up everything J. Crew. I've been a lot more selective with my J. Crew pickups, but I knew that this was going to do, we were coming into the good months for fall, and I knew it would do pretty well. And the cheetah print, very popular. So, okay. We have these shoes that I just picked up last week too. So, or OFOs, am I saying it right? I'm going to show you so you can look it up if you don't know what they are. So this was a new shoe bins rotation when I was there last time, and everybody was going for like the Nikes, and they forgot about, I don't know, these. I was so excited. You just see the OE on the side and So these are usually a good pickup. I love that they were mules. Like typically I find the sandals or something like that, and these are like under 2 pounds, so awesome. They sold this morning or last night for $36.75. My estimated profit, $22.46. These are awesome. So if you find these, hopefully you find them at the bins, and it's gonna be a good flip, a fast flip too. So they're unisex, they say, like men or women, so they have like the size on the bottom for both. So these I did relist, and what I did is I went through and to see where I had watchers on some items that maybe just needed to breathe. I needed to breathe some new life into them by relisting them. These had 3 watchers, but they had been listed for like a year and a half. So I went in, I relisted these. They are called Zune. I have no idea. Little moccasin. Now, honestly, I wouldn't pick these up probably today. They just sat too long. But maybe I'm not giving them enough credit. They had 3 watchers. They just needed new life. They needed to be relisted on eBay. And oh, here's even I'll show you that if you can see. Zoom. So these shoes, I got an offer for $18. I grabbed them at a church sale for $1. I do have a really good setup for shoes, so I don't really worry about shoes too much, hanging out too long, but I'd have been a little bit sad about these had they come from the Salvation Army or something like that, and they were, $8, and I'm waiting to make my profit. So they sold for $18. My estimated profit, $14.95. So happy with that. Happy that these are going to the new home. So that may be worth looking too. If you have older items that have watchers to them, that might just mean that it needs to be relisted so that people can see it again. So it can breathe new life into the listing. So, okay, friends, that is 17 items that sold from Friday to Monday. I hope you enjoyed this video. My estimated profit from everything here, now this was around $500 in sales, and after fees, cost of goods, I estimate that my profit this weekend was around $250. Awesome, very happy with that. So if you like videos like this, I put about 2 to 5 videos out per week, all about what's selling on eBay, Poshmark, what I'm picking up at the Goodwill bins, yard sales, church sales, thrift stores, wherever the sales are, I'm there. So thank you for hanging out. If you're not subscribed, I would love to have you hang out with me more often. Send this video to a friend, because thrifting is better with friends. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye-bye.